Recently, I decided I would like to make some stands for my letter knives, which are looking like this one here. That's quite complex shape, and making a stand for it requires a nice inlay, which in most cases is really hard to be done if you don't have a scanner. But is it so? Actually, if you have a scanner, you will waste much more time than if you use the method that I will show you just now. All you need for that is SOLIDWORKS and a camera. Let's see how to make a photo which we can use then for our inlay and what steps will follow up so we can have this as our final product. First thing you have to do is to find a nice contrasting background to make your photo. Then it's good to have two straight lines which you can use to align your photo and to have as little as possible distortion from the camera, like this. Then you can make the photo. SolidWorks, we need that for sure. Once we started, we create a new part. Then select the plane on which we would like to have our reference or the image. Then start a new sketch, navigate to Tools, Sketch Tools, then select a sketch picture, pick the image that you would like to have. And then you can use the Scale tool to scale it to the size it is. In our case, it's 126.5, the complete length of our letter knife. 126.5. As the scale tool is actually not perfect, first I will try to position as good as possible the image, exit the screen at a center line, use the option infinite length and attach it to origin. Now we see that the other end of the image is actually not in correct position. We double click on it to move it in the other direction. So 1 degree is way too much. Let's try with 0.5. 0.5 looks a bit better. As you can see, it's not only rotating, but it's also changing position. We have to move it back to the center and check if the other end is fine too. Okay, I think that's okay. We click OK. And what I would like to check is I will add a point here and measure again the size of 126.5. This should be the length of our blade, and this is the tip of our blade. On the other end is a bit off, so I will adjust it and select OK. The next step is to add points which we will fix on every corner or transition. So I will add a point here, fix it, then add a point somewhere here, fix it, here, fix it. I'm going a bit outer because this will be inlay. Fix it, fix it. Then here's a bit more tricky, as this has some fillet. I will add a point here and here, and of course I have to fix them. A point here, fix, here, fix, and here is the origin, so I won't add any point. So actually I can delete also this point, as this is more like ellipse, and this I will use to model it. I will start from that. I think this is close, maybe that way. We make this vertical. And then I will use spline to model this. You can adjust the shape afterwards. I will fix that point and trim what I don't need. Then I continue to the rest. As we said, from here to here, 126.5 should be, and it's that much. I have followed the blade as best as I can and everything around. So all I have to do is to mirror all the entities above the center line. It looks fine, and as this would be an insert, what I will do is actually offset it with 0.2 and make the base geometry contour. I would like to have it just in one direction, and this is what I got. We keep the base, but it's contour, and then we have an outer line which is a bit bigger than what we have. Then I click OK, and now I'm ready to continue with making my stand. Okay, now I will go to the top plane where I will draw the contours of our stand. Now I use the sketch picture more or less to imagine what I would like to have as contours. I would like to have this as 10 degree. I would like to have the complete length 150. Then this is 5. The degree here will be 20. The length here will be 50 or 80. Okay. Now I will extrude as a mid plane. I will come and look from the front and maybe 100 is what I would like to have. My next step will be to hide the sketch, go back in it, and of course rename it to a reference sketch. I will add just ref at the end. Select the contour that we have. So I will just grab all the contours and make a block. I will exit our reference sketch at this point, and I will rename the block as letter knife contour. This way, when I have more than one block, it will be easy to recognize which block I want. Now, what we will do next is go to the front plane and add a new sketch. This and this should be equal. And then extrude cut through both sides. This is how it will look at this point. Maybe I would like to have it a bit smaller on the top. This is something I can easily adjust from here. Of course, this line won't work then. Here I will add a construction geometry and the midpoint will be here. Like this. And oh, that looks nice. On this face, I will add a new sketch and I will insert our block. Additionally, I will add a center line, make it coincident here and here, and adjust it on a distance maybe 13 from the top. Okay, that looks promising. I will leave this sketch here as sketch inlet. What I will do next is first I will draw a sketch here and I will draw another sketch here. Let's do that. I will make it like this. And actually, from this one, I will create a surface, a planar one. Good. And here I will add another sketch, which will look like cloth wrinkles. Okay, now we can adjust it a bit. Now we'll add the center line and mirror this along that center line. What I will do next is my favorite. I will delete some faces so I can use hybrid modeling with surfaces. I go to Surfaces tab, select delete face. I will delete this one, this one, this one, this, and that. Make sure on options is just delete, not delete and patch, and then select OK. What we have is our new bottom surface, the sketch we have on the top, and what I will go to do next is a lofted surface from this edge and this part of the sketch. Of course, I would like to have some guide curves, which will be this and that edge here. if I want to have the clothes more going down, maybe I can try with start tangency, normal to profile. Oh, that's the wrong one. So it's the end one. No, it won't work. Okay, so that's fine. That's the front side of the cloth. And then we go on the back one. We have to show this sketch again and start another loft from here. And this part of the sketch. Again, we will need guide curves, but here it's not a continuous line, so we need selection manager and to choose more than one. Okay, again, right button, selection manager, and choose everything you need to include. And okay again. Then we're finished with the second loft. And from this surface, so this sketch actually, I can make a planar surface. Oh, of course, it should not be open. I will close it. Then all we have to do is to knit everything together. And create solid. Just for a little bit while I will hide that. Let's go on evaluate and to see the curvature. Okay, it looks nice, I like it. Then we select this sketch and make extrude cut, but this time it will be mid-plane and the thickness of 6 millimeter, which is what we have. Actually, we do have 5, but it's going in both directions, so we will need a bit more. We will need even more, as I can see. And that's because we made this arc here. Maybe if I do it in the opposite direction, and this is what I'm going to do, it would be better. Here it is. Of course, we have some errors as the loft lost this edge. Maybe it would be better not to use mid-plane, but to use blind and through all. Here, however, it's not good enough for my taste, so I will edit this again and we'll add some offset in the opposite direction. Maybe we can even add some draft outwards. Okay, let's check here what's, oh, that's becoming a bit sharp. That's good because I can edit here directly inside add a fillet. And when I exit, because I use block, everything will be fixed based on my changes. And that's probably how I would like this stand to be. So I save it and send it to the 3D printer. Now, I forgot to mention that when you save, I prefer to save a step file, but I do use the older format. It seems that the slicer is reading that one better than the newer step format. I put it in my slicer. Here you can adjust how precise your model will look like. And once it's here, you can orient it. For me, the best orientation for this stand will be like this. Wow, that looks nice, really. And what I will do is go to my settings, and there I will go to strength and change the infill to lightning. As here I don't need this form to be full, I need just some outer walls, and when we slice the plate, it will put infill just where it's needed. And as you can see, most of the model is actually hollow. And here we go. I forgot to mention something again. If you go to a lightning infill, for sure you have to increase the wall line count. Default is only 2. 2 is too little when you have no infill inside. I went first with 2. Of course, I break my model. It was fitting, but it was just too thin as walls. Then I went with the 3. Maybe in this case 4 would be the best because I use 0.4 millimeter nozzle. If you're with 0.6, 3 walls will be absolutely enough. What else I will need is probably some support. And then I will go to support, select 3, auto support. And see slice what it will do. Yes, sure enough, this is where we need the support. This will print for 2 hours and 70 minutes. I'm sending it to the printer, and we will see what the result will be just shortly. That was everything for today. I hope you learned something new and you enjoyed this video. I don't know what do you think for this stand, but personally I find it lovely. It fits like a glove. Maybe if you want to have it more loose, not so tight as a fit, you have to increase the gap to 0.3 millimeters. But I like it like this because I won't lose my letter knife. I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.